Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hey, it's Friday. Um, Welcome to the live stream. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I tested audio. It seemed like it worked, so I think we're working. It's been a long time since I've streamed, so I figured it would be cool to do some streaming stuff. So hi on YouTube, hi on Twitch. Check in here. It looks like I can see I've got an iPad over here. I've got Twitch over here. I got Twitch over here, YouTube over here, hoping that everything works. Hoping your Friday is doing good. My Friday is doing pretty good. I'm going to be working on some SwiftUI stuff. So I've got an app I'm working on called Edge Studio. In fact, I have some code commented out that I know I broke, and I'm going to try to make that work. If you come along and you want to ask some questions, feel free to ask questions in Twitch or YouTube. Try to pay attention to both those. I may get pretty deep into this. Let's see here. Start out with I broke a bunch of stuff. Well, one, we don't need semicolons. This isn't JavaScript or C++ or any of those languages, so I don't need semicolons. Let's see what's going on here. So I've got code that does very similar things over here. So I'm registering an observer. I say here's a query. So I'm going to get my arguments here. I am setting a observer here. So I have observer. I need to register with a query. So let's see here. Oh, query needs an argument. That's what's going on here. So query would need an argument. So let's multi-line these things so it's a little bit easier to read. I do use VI, so that's why you see any of the down here at the bottom, you'll see an Xcoder. There's a bunch of like VI shortcuts that it's recommending. So let's see here. So then decoder, we need to make one of those before we map through and decode because we want to be able to do that. Okay, so now we're saying it's saying Ditto history does not comply to decoder. Let's take a look here. So I have Ditto history. Here's Ditto query history, and it is identifiable, but it's not codable, right? So that's it's not wrong in that concept, right? Let me see another one I have. I think I have is the Ditto observable. Nope. What is app config probably is. Yeah, so this is decodable, and I think the only difference is, oh boy, yeah, I had to do a bunch of stuff to make this decodable. You know what? Let's try our friends in AI. So that's one of the things I wanted to try to do here. Try out Xcode's AI. There is Git Copilot basically for Xcode. It's right here, man. I have it on our monitor, but I can bring it over here so y'all can see it. Let's see here. So, and we want to say Ditto history. So you have to make sure you have the file selected. And I want to say, hey, can you fix this class so that it conforms to decoding JSON? With a good question. And it should come up with a bunch of code that it's recommending here. So what's it recommending here? It says, so for Ditto query, we would need 3 different initializers. I don't think we need the encoder because we're never going to encode this. We're only going to decode it. But we definitely want to conform to codable. So that's a protocol we're going to conform to. We've got 3 here. So it's saying that we also need an enum for the coding keys. And that would make sense. I would have to say though, boy, most other languages like Dart don't require so much work to encode something. It is a little, what's going on here with my ID? It is a little frustrating. And then what are they saying here? I think we need just these 2 functions. Let's just grab these 2, our 2 initters. So one should just make it from a string, right? That makes sense to me. And then this one should make it from a decoder. We're going to try to decode the ID query and then the date. Move that off over here. Yeah, I don't have enough screen real estate. Well, I guess I could if I only had 1 tab open, but don't really have enough screen real estate to show. I keep that thing open all the time on my coding screen. Let's see here. So I did decodable. Let's see here. We're still getting value type Ditto has November set error. It shouldn't be. I'm not trying to use that. I'm trying to use in Ditto Manager. We should have the Ditto app. Yeah, that's wrong. It should be this. It should be Ditto app. And then what should happen is we should say, wait, why is it Nomad? Function is unused. Oh, why is it mad now? So now I fixed that and then it's mad about something else. Let's see here. So let's take a look at this again. So we need to make a weak self-reference. We're getting results. And then we make sure we can get self. Why would this be pissed off? All right, let's see here. That's still at there. Do I have a semicolon problem here or a brackets problem here? It's not needed. And sorry for the lame music. Well, that definitely wasn't it. What am I doing different? Let me look at another thing I have here. So this is almost the same as that code. In fact, if I were to do this, it should be exactly the same code, right? Well, it's not the same code, right? Because I'm decoding something differently. I have a decoder. I have a history, items. I decode, catch an error. This is for closing history items. This is for, we have an extra set of brackets. There it is. Because this should be it here. Let's see. So that, hey, what's up? Hey, Nick. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. That's the catch. That's the let. That should be the opening of the observer. That should be closing. What I got going wrong here? No, because it's a function that I pass a query in and then I register needs arguments. Register observer. I need the query, the arguments. Then I need the action that it's going to do. That looks all right. And this will be that. This will be that. So consecutive statements on a line must be separated by a semicolon. That makes no sense to me. This should not be needed. This is not the issue. Oh wait. Did I have an extra that's what happened. I had an extra. Oh boy. I had an extra parenthesis in there that was causing it. All right, so let's see here, but we're not done yet. So this should get a, this has the, where's the history now? So let's see here. So we have our argument. It's, I have a big monitor usually. So this small monitor coding on this is hard because I normally have it like expanded out to here on a big 49-inch. When I stream, I have to do it down low. So let's take a look here. But so I should have history. This is the observer. And where's the collection? Right here is that history, right? So once we have the items, we got to do something with them, right? Because we have to say, this is where we should be able to say self dot Ditto query history equals history items. What that should do is Ditto query history. What is it called then? Let's go look at the manager at the top. What do we have here? There should be a set of history for this. Ditto selected app history. That's not a great name. Let's make it that instead. Should not be called anywhere else, hopefully. Oh, this is always going to be the shit, right? But I have weak self. I should be able to. Yeah, I do it here. No, I don't. Shit. That's right. This is stupid. And then I have to do a weak self reference again. And then I already did it above. And then I have to say here, await self, and make sure that I have it. Actors. I kind of miss the old days of dispatchers in Grand Central. Compile Dev lurking and working. I want to say happy Friday. Hey, Compile Dev, it's been quite a long time. It's been like forever. Like I want to say it's been over 6 months now since I've streamed. If anybody's wanting to know why, I left the company I used to work for. I worked for a company named Couchbase. I don't work there anymore. And so that happened in December and stopped streaming when that happened. I did some consulting for a period of time. Worked with a buddy on some stuff that he was looking to try to get done. And then I started a new company called Ditto, and they're a startup. We work on mobile databases, and it's been a lot of fun there. So let's see here. So actor, can we consider? It's not just saying that I have a weight wrong. So this still isn't fixing my issue with actors. Actors is the number one pain. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Actors are the pain of my ass. To say the least. So Ditto's SDK, we don't really support async syntax or actors or anything like that yet. And so a lot of it's like just running tasks and trying to let everything sync up and hope for the best. And so the Ditto manager you can see here is an actor itself, and that's so that doesn't run on the main UI thread, right? I don't want it to run as the main actor. This does a lot of disk operations, and so that's bad. It's definitely when I query the database and I get stuff back, it could be intense. So you don't want to lock the UI thread up while doing that. Let's ask. So in the old days, I would just run this. I'd have to make some code that would sync with a lock, right, to get it back. But actor isolation. Let's see if our AI friend can tell us what to do. And we are in life cycle here. So let's see here. Having an error in my hydrate. You guys can't see what I'm writing. So again, I'm trying to use the I don't know who the hell this is. Oh, this is a GitHub Copilot. have an error with actor isolation. Can you give me some suggestions on allowing the self.ditto set? Let's see what it has to say. Our AI has to say on what it wants to say to do to fix this. So it's saying, yeah, I see you have you're trying to isolate from non-isolated contents because your observant closure is not marked as isolated on the actor. Here's how to fix it. They're saying jump on the main actor, weak self it, and then do it there. Does that do a sync? Well, let's see if I don't think that code's gonna work. Oh, yeah, I accidentally borked the name, didn't I? Well, it borked the name because I had the name right, and then it what the hell did it tell me to do here? It said make a function that the main actor calls that sets it. Okay, I mean, I don't think that's okay. Well, you know what? Rather than complain, take this with a grain of salt. It says make a function and then call the function instead. So it says here, just say self dot update history items and see if that works. Well, okay, it worked. Interesting. Say, hey Nick. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, everybody's here, man. Well, so interesting. So the main actor call won't set a property, but it'll allow in a function call. So the function call must be then doing, so it does the call only on the function to main actor, and then that must be the lock that it's doing to, or no, it wouldn't even be a lock, it'd be a thread jump, right? Because the actor, once again, I'm an old school UI kit app kit developer that's learning SwiftUI and actors. So I'm trying to think about this, like how this works behind the scenes. So what I'm understanding is happening here is that, so I know for a fact when it says task in the main actor, you're jumping threads, right? You're jumping from the current actor, which should be a separate thread, not a necessarily background thread, or but it's just a dispatch thread, right? And it should be running code then on the main thread, which is only updating a list, and that's a published property anyway, so that's kind of needed, right? Because we want the main thread to be able to know whenever that changes, because then the UI should update. So by theory, all this should just run and work. So let's just run it and see what the hell happens, right? This is a very interesting SwiftUI app. It is a so what is it? So it's called Edge Studio. Edge Studio's job is to help people debug apps that use Ditto. Company I work for is databases. So you may have a mobile database set up in an app. You're trying to figure out. So we offer this really unique technology, which is you can sync your data between apps peer-to-peer without having a database per se. You could just, if you wanted to, you have two devices that are basically no internet connection, nothing, but as long as you're within a certain distance, you can use Bluetooth or peer-to-peer Wi-Fi. In Apple's, this is called Wi-Fi Wear, Wi-Fi Wear is Android and PC. Apple's is called AWDL. And so that's the same thing that AirPlay uses, by the way. So our technology could do that. So if I have devices to do that, the problem is that how do you debug, like, is data syncing and how's that all working? And that's the trick of the trade, right? And so that's what this app is here to help developers debug those kind of weird situations. So you have to have a registered app in Ditto's portal. So I have I've got a MongoDB demo. This MongoDB is a database that's out in MongoDB that we can sync with. And so I'm just going to open up this MongoDB demo, and you can see here, this is the main UI of the app then. So we have some things called subscriptions. Subscriptions are just give you the ability to sync information from a server anywhere, whether it's Ditto server out in the cloud, or you can run your own. We call Ditto server on your own network using Kubernetes or Docker, whatever you want to run. But I have to tell the app like what data do you want, and so that's what subscriptions do. And you can just click on one of these and you can edit it. It's just a SQL statement. It comes down to it, which is pretty cool. And we have these things called observers, and that's really what the heart and the heart and soul of this app. What I want to build is the ability to do that, but it does a bunch of other things. So let's go into query here and take a look. So what I'm working on is this feature here for history. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to run a query on any one of these collections, and this is just a bunch of data that's embedded into a database that's embedded into this app. So for example, theaters, I can just click this, say run it locally, and this is getting 1,564 JSON documents back. These are JSON documents. You can then decode these to whatever objects you want. And it kind of works. You don't need a REST API. That's the beautiful thing. It's an embedded database, right? It's pretty badass cool. As a developer, if you wanted to just like see what's going on with this JSON, like you want to get into another program, you can just click on it. You'll see a little animation, a little green checkbox there. And that means if I were to call up like text edit and make a new document, that JSON, whatever you just clicked on, the JSON, that automatically puts on the clipboard for you so that you can go through and you can look at it in whatever formatting program you want. Maybe you need to bring that over to like MongoDB's tools to test to see whether or not the stuff in Ditto matches. There are 100 reasons why you'd want to do this. I can just make this plain text so it's a little bit easier to read. But you can see here then that's that raw JSON that I just clicked on inside of the results view. One of the cool things that this program could do that I've already written the code for is that right now it's talking to the local database. But if you want, I can use this pull down list and say HTTP. And now what's going to happen is this is going to go against, instead of the local database, it's going to call HTTP up to the server, wherever the data is stored in the server. So this is the optional feature. And if you were to select an app that doesn't have a server, it's just local only, then this option would be available. But if I run this, and you can see here, it takes a few seconds, that pulls the records from the HTTP server instead, which is pretty cool, right? So you have the option of either, and this is where I have documents on my local device and I have documents on the server. I want to see, are they the same? And so we want to be able to give you like I want to give you the ability to go through and see that. And you can kind of go through and play around with that then, okay? Why does this all matter? Why does this tool super cool? Well, when you get into the Ditto tools, it kind of makes sense here. So one, I'm going to select the presence viewer. You're going to see instantly there's some interesting things going on here. I can see there's another device running. So this is me right here. You can see that I have a peer-to-peer connection to another device running this database, this application. But it's not this application. It turns out it's just a registered Ditto app. And they're syncing information back and forth. And I'm also getting information from Ditto Cloud. And that's how I was getting those API calls, right? Well, what is that app then running? Because you don't see it anywhere on my screen, right? Well, I'm going to open QuickTime Player. And then I'm going to hit cancel here. And I'm going to go to File. And I'm going to say I think it's a new movie recording. And then what I do is I select the phone that I have plugged in. Let's see here, camera. Where's the screen? And yes, there it is. So this is a phone that's running a totally different app, but it has the same Ditto app ID. So literally this app it could be an app you're developing, right? I'm a developer, I'm working on this app, and this app, obviously it's QuickTime, I can't control it, but I have the phone right next to me on my desk here and I can't control it there. This is an app of movies from MongoDB. And this app is not even written in Swift. This is written in Flutter, but it's an iOS app, right? And the theory is our tech is smart enough to say, oh, okay, you have a Ditto app ID registered. I'm going to go find out any other app that's out there that has this app ID registered. And now I can talk back and forth. And I can sync information and data, and it's all peer-to-peer. There's no cloud needed. In fact, this phone that I'm currently showing doesn't even have a data plan. It's not connected on the internet at all. But it can get updates through my computer because I'm registered with the same app ID. So that's the interesting part of what all this does. But troubleshooting this can be tricky, right? When you start to run into problems within your app, you're trying to figure out like, okay, server has this device has this data, but this device doesn't. Then you're trying to figure out like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And so these kind of tools allow you to kind of see what's going on. And so that's what I'm working on right now. The biggest thing will be the observer feature, which I'm going to work on this weekend. And I'll probably stream that a little bit. We'll see here. But the observer, I